In this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and scan a host using Nmap. Now, Nmap is a free and arguably the most common network scanning tool out there. And it can be used for reconnaissance to discover what's on a network and which services are responding on a host. So you can either start your Kali Linux virtual machine and log into it directly or connect to it remotely through SSH like I've done. It makes no difference, but either way, we need to be able to type commands. So in Kali Linux, the first thing I want to do is make sure the SSH daemon or service is running. So I'm going to do the sudo command prefix to run it with elevated permissions, service ssh, and I can run start to start it up. I'll specify Kali as the password for the Kali username, and I'm going to use the up arrow key to bring up that command again to check the status. And sure enough, the SSH daemon shows as active and running. Okay, so I'll press Q to quit, and I'll type in the clear command. Now, according to step 3 in the exercise, we can verify that it's listening, that SSH is listening on port 22 using the netstat command. So sudo netstat, let's run that command, very useful command. You can also run netstat in Windows. -an, I want to view numeric port numbers, and I'm going to pipe that to the grep line filtering command. I'm going to look for :22 because I know that SSH listens on port 22, TCP port 22 by default. Let's press enter to see what we get. Sure enough, port 22 shows up a few times. So 0.0.0.0 means all IPv4 addresses. Then our specific IPv4 address is shown. It's listening on port 22. And then same with IPv6 addresses, port 22. So we know it's running is the key. Now let's run the sudo netstat command once again, -an, and let's grep it for port 123, which is the Network Time Protocol or NTP port. Now, this is as per step 4 in the exercise. Now, NTP is not running, it's not listening, so therefore nothing is shown. So step 5 in the exercise gets us to start NTP. Let's do that with sudo service NTP start. And it looks like something probably happened. I'm going to use the up arrow key because I want to run an sudo service NTP status to make sure it's active and running, which it is. Okay, well that's good. We can also verify this as per step 6 by issuing the sudo command service, or rather in this case sudo netstat -an, and we'll pipe that to the grep line filter, :123, kind of like what we did previously, but this time we get a response back because we started the NTP service. So all we're doing here is verifying we have a few services running so that we can check for them using Nmap. And let's do that as per step 7. Let's run sudo nmap. We're going to do it against, in this case, our local loopback IP address. Normally you would specify a remote IP address out on the network or even a range of IPs to scan an entire network or a subset of a network. -lowercase s and uppercase UT. This means that we want to make sure that we perform a UDP and a TCP scan. Let's go ahead and press enter, and notice in the output that we have returned port 22 TCP for SSH and port 123, which is over UDP as a transport for NTP. Interesting, so that's the scan output. Finally, step 8, let's run sudo nmap -O to do OS fingerprinting against, in this case, again, our local 127.0.0.1 IP address. And we'll give that a moment. What it will do is come back and tell us that we are running some variant of the Linux 2.6.x kernel.